up, everybody? Matt Aguilar here from ComicBook Nation. We are here to talk all things WrestleMania Night 1, Day 1, really. And with me, I think, is an awesome team of wrestling experts, wrestlers. I'm actually the only person who hasn't been in the ring in like the last 2 months that's here. Connor Casey, what's up, buddy?
What's going on, Matt?
And Brandon Davis, how's it going live from Philadelphia?
What's going on? I'm trying to stay warm. What's going on?
Yeah, I heard a lot about the, what was it, 52 degrees over there last night?
It was down to the 40s, but then it had a 20-degree wind chill. It felt like the 20s.
Okay. Well, that's one of those things, right? Being out and about. And then also, throw into that some people like had temperatures of 102 and all kinds of stuff. It was an epic night. It was an epic first day of WrestleMania. We got a lot to cover here. We're going to be reacting to all of it. And then, of course, giving a few insights to what's happening with Day 2, which is, of course, already underway. The Slammies are happening live right now. So much other stuff going on during WrestleMania weekend. Let's start. Actually, I'm going to switch up the thing here in the layout minute because I have to address this. We ran a poll last night of best entrance at WrestleMania. We had a bunch for those who watched. I mean, Lil Wayne's jumping out there during Jey Uso's. Rhea Ripley had the band there. We had all kinds of stuff. So I ran a poll that was like, hey, what's the best entrance of the night? And I gave the 4 choices, and essentially it was The Rock, because The Rock had a big new entrance that, I'm not kidding, it seemed like forever. We did the stopwatch of like Roman and Rock's entrances, and Rock's just before he even got out there alone was like 2 minutes of it. So Rock, Jey, Rhea, and then the epic entrance that was for Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, and Naomi. And Rock won like by, at one point it seemed like a landslide. It did inch up a little bit closer, but it was Rock won all the way out, and I'm a little bummed by that because I thought that trio entrance was fantastic. Also, like, Jey only got 3%. Like, Lil Wayne only got you 3%. That's nuts.
2 seconds of a milli and then stopped.
He should have.
But he went all the way to the ring.
He should have sang more of a milli, but then he also just looked like a fanboy following Jey to the ring. I thought that was cute.
Yeah.
I thought it was.
What was your best entrance of the night?
Probably. I mean, I'm a fan of Rock. Such a fan of Rock. It's hard to see anything else. But then for me, number 2 is Jey. But I haven't watched the women's entrance on a screen yet. In person, they were just up on top of a platform, and it was cool. Like, it looked dope. But I don't know it probably looked cooler on television than it did in person, because they were just up on top of this big black rectangle. 3 of them on there. Kind of looking like so choose a character doing like their movement the whole time, because Jade was doing this thing, Bianca was doing this the whole time, like just stuck in place for like a full couple minutes. And then I thought they kind of rushed through all 3 of their entrances after that, so I could see maybe why that didn't win. But I bet it looked cooler on television than it did from my vantage point in the link.
Sure,
I got you. That makes sense. Connor?
So I'm partial to Motionless in White, so getting to see them perform Rhea to the ring was pretty fun. Jay's was a bit of a downer because apparently Wayne was supposed to play his new single and didn't, and I was very confused by that.
I thought that too. That's what he said on Raw, right?
Yeah, he said that, and then I think we were still promised a Meek Mill concert at some point. I don't know. I kept expecting that to also happen. Also, name dropping Wayne as the GOAT rapper. I'm like, this is up there with calling Limp Bizkit WWE's favorite band. That might not age as well as people think it will.
Whoa.
He's like introducing the greatest rapper alive. I'm like, Hove? No, he's not here. Okay, never mind.
Okay, Lil Wayne though has a
he's always
credible debate for that.
I wish,
and Limp Bizkit was never gonna be
I wish
close to that.
Rich was here to help me with this, but like Wayne is always in the top 10 conversation, but he's never won.
Right. Right, but like it's not Limp Bizkit.
No. That WrestleMania has a horrible history of live performances, and for me, Bizkit is always up there. no, the women's 6-woman tag. Honestly, I thought Damage Controls was really cool with all the
Yeah, theirs was cool too.
coming out, and that, I feel like that one will play better on TV with the way the camera angle was set up. With Jade and them, I thought this looks great, except we got 2 X-Men and Kung Lao from Mortal Kombat with Naomi's big.
I did see your tweet. I did see the tweet. Here's the thing. I need her to come out with the hat at all times. The hat was dope. Like, she looked awesome. Like, and I got more like, I got more like mariachi Mexican vibes from the hat. But I was just like, oh, that's awesome. Like, she looks dope. But I do agree. I didn't quite understand the like synchronicity between all three, but they looked amazing. The gold and silver, that thing, I agree. I think it popped more on TV. All right, let's move into actual wrestling stuff.
Dwayne actually does win, and they need to drop that new version of his song on Spotify. They still haven't done that yet. That annoys me.
Oh, sorry. I made a bet. I was with Joe Deckelmeyer from Screen Rant. We were sitting. We went to WrestleMania together, and I said to Joe, over under 16 minutes on the entrances for the main event, and it was 17 minutes. It was about 17 minutes.
It was quicker than Romans came in at like 4:26.
Cody and Seth came out quickly. I think because they knew Roman and Rock were gonna. What the hell was Seth Rollins wearing though? Walking clown emoji. Anyway,
it looked like Cookie Monster was sitting on his shoulder.
How dare you besmirch the Rollins? How dare you?
McAfee thought it was a hat, and he was just
McAfee's commentary was on fire throughout the entire night. That dude dropped some lines, some gold lines throughout the night. That was fantastic. But yes, Rollins was I was trying to describe in the Slack, like, I was like, what is the hat shoulder thing? But that's the thing. That's part of what makes it great. I can't argue. Also, I will say that was by far my favorite Cody coat. I love that thing. That looked like straight up superhero
Revolutionary War Homelander.
Yeah, I'm all about it. Sign me up, Cody Crybaby right here. Damn it, I'm all in. So all right, so let's move to real quick. Did anyone other than me have a chance to watch NXT Stand and Deliver? I don't want to leave anybody out. But okay, cool. So you missed amazing stuff. So I was just put that out there. I will say there's a lot of
mass agenda type stuff right here.
It's damn right. So NXT Stand and Deliver kicked off day one of WrestleMania. This was a number one, and I don't know if I put the photos in here or not. But amongst all the matches, there it is. Julia showing up. We heard a lot of rumors back and forth. Was it going to happen? Was it not? This was her, kind of WWE TV debut. This is typically what they do in NXT before someone kind of moves into the roster full time. Dragon Lee got the same kind of treatment, and I am stoked for this. I cannot wait, especially with NXT's women's division is tops. And it's fantastic. So for her to be able to mix it up with people, Lyra Valkyria versus Roxanne Perez was fantastic. Roxy finally gets her like real title moment. I hope to actually see her get like a long reign, because the last time there was so much other stuff around it. Didn't really get a proper reign then. So I'm very excited for that. It was a great match. And also they built Teflon armor. We'll get to that in a bit. Seth has some of that armor himself later on. But as far as like why they lost, still making them look strong. Lyra's good. Ilya and Tony, that was I think that was easily Tony's best match in NXT to this point. Ilya makes everyone look good. That dude is just, I cannot wait till people get to see him on the main roster and we get those, Gunther matches that we've seen, but people, there's like a whole section of people that haven't witnessed him amongst other people. I'm excited for that to finally happen, but it ain't happening right now because he's still champ, and that surprised me. I thought they would move him into Raw SmackDown territory. That is not happening as of yet anyway. So that one actually threw me, but it was a great match. And then Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes, that long-standing story, finally got its big final match here. Probably not final match, final, because they're both going to probably end up on SmackDown to some point. We know Carmelo's already there, but Trick is probably not far behind him. But as far as closing out their NXT storyline and chapter, this was great. So yeah, stars across the board. It was a fun night. I am excited to see what the future of NXT holds. Shawn Michaels has done a great job over there. So, any thoughts on what happened at Stand and Deliver before we move into night one? Connor and Brandon.
The only thing I know about it, other than everything you just said, is that it ran long to the point that the guy next to me at Mania yesterday said he and a lot of other people had to leave the show because they had to get to Mania. So did that impact the crowd while you were watching it?
Mm-mm. No, and that's weird because like that ended at 3 my time EST.
Maybe never mind.
Mania didn't start till 7, so
I
don't know
Eastern
what
time?
like 3 Eastern. So like
I don't know.
and it didn't start till 7 Eastern time. Yeah.
Never mind.
But I don't know what happened there. But no, I mean, look, that's also like that's just the main show, right? There was the kickoff show. Then if you've got stuff for happening, the world ran all throughout, right? So like there's all kinds of stuff. Like he might have had something else to do, which makes total sense. All right, so let's move into night one. Show kicks off with Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley. Did not realize that going into it, Becky had strep throat and had 102 fever at some point in time. What did you think of this match? Obviously, Rhea wins and is the lone, as we'll get to later, the lone Judgment Day member that has a title still. So was that the right call? What did you think of this match overall? Connor, what do you think?
I dug it. This was the kind of dominant win I was expecting from Rhea. I loved the riptide into the turnbuckle as the setup for the finish. Like that was just, it was unique yet violent in a way that made, that would absolutely knock somebody out before then hitting your finisher. It felt like it started off a little slow. You can definitely tell Bex was fighting through something. The 102 with the strep throat, that's can't be fun at all. But yeah, like you said, this was Judgment Day's only win, which I think some folks were expecting. So maybe this is what eventually finally breaks up the group.
Yeah, I think they made the right call too. I think it makes sense for Rhea to win. I think we're going to see a lot of titles be changing hands this weekend. 3 of which we're about to get to on this show alone. So I think they made the right call. I think it was a good match. I think it called back to it played with the expectations based on Charlotte and Rhea, where they kept sort of teasing the riptide off the top rope, and instead we got it into the buckle and then another one to finish it. And I thought that was really clever. And I mean, I didn't know that Becky was fighting through a fever and some sore throat. Props to her. This match was, I thought, a great way to open the show. And also when Rhea kept going up to the top rope, I was like, what the hell is she going to do up there? Frog splash.
Yeah.
And that was good. It was good stuff.
Yeah, I love that they did the riptide into a frog splash and that wasn't enough. And just like seeing Rhea in the air like that, that's not her typical bag, right? So, and we got a couple of those things throughout the day of, people who don't typically get up on the top rope, jumping off and doing some fun stuff. But yeah, I think it was also the right move. I think Rhea is just like, it feeds a bunch of storylines too, right? Mm-hmm. Rhea's the lone member that has it. They were already teasing the breakup, like Connor said. So this is a perfect kind of movement into that direction. Also, they've been kind of teasing all kinds of, half the crowd is cheering for Rhea anyway, right? Even though she's like one of the biggest villains in WWE, they've been cheering her like she's a face. So it makes sense to pivot that way too. Great match.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Rhea Ripley. She's fantastic, and I love the finisher of like 2 back-to-back. The turnbuckle's a nice add. Moving into the what some might be calling match of the night, the tag team ladder match. This thing was, look, ladder matches are always insane, as that image very much is, I feel like, a perfect representation of. But this was supremely fun, brutal. You had a great mix, I think, of styles and kind of newer people in the mix, and then also, veterans and stuff. And we also got the splits, which, many people have been hoping to see these titles split up. Yep. Now we have that. We have 2 sets of champions, one for each brand. BD, what did you, live and in person, what did you think of this match? And how do you feel about the winners?
I loved it. I thought Theory and Waller coming away from it felt so anticlimactic right there about the halfway through point of the match. Like, I get it. It's about time they get a win because these guys have been selling for everyone else in master form for the past, I don't know how long. They'll put everyone over, so it's about time they get it. But there wasn't really a reaction in the crowd when they won. It wasn't like, to be fair, there wasn't really much reaction from this crowd anyway throughout the night. But this was one of the moments where it's like, oh, I guess they got the belts. I thought that R-Truth stole the show. I think he's a genius performer, a genius worker. New Catch Republic, they put on quite a show as well. Who did basically the trust fall from the ladder to the outside of the ring? Like, they jumped backwards.
That was Kofi.
Oh, dude, that was a crazy spot. That was cool. There was another spot where Damian went to go climb up the ladder and the ref was like grabbing at his foot. And I was real curious what was going on. And I was like, wait, did somebody get hurt? And I try to pay attention to these kind of details to see what's going on. The refs were trying to tell him that the ladder was broken. Mm-hmm. So when he went to do the, what is his choke slam? I forget what does he call his choke slam? South of Heaven. Yeah, South of Heaven. When he tried to do the South of Heaven off there, and they like kind of jumped early and botched it a little bit. I'm pretty sure that was just them realizing, oh, they're trying to tell us the ladder's broken. Get off the damn ladder. But yeah, awesome Truth winning. Hell yeah, that was great. R-Truth got his moment, and I really hope he doesn't join the Judgment Day again.
Connor.
So yeah, like WrestleMania is better served with getting one of these car crash matches, whether it was TLC way back in the day, whether it was Money in the Bank there for a run of years, and even it more recently, when they get to have one of these somewhere on the card, it just makes things so much more fun, and it gets a lot of people involved. We had 8 teams in this, like we had a bunch. It was great, and so there's so much to enjoy from it, but this was also, like Brandon said, it was cold there in Philly. And this was the first match that made me go, the crowd's not as wired for this as I thought they would be. And then I kept looking at all the tweets where it's like, yeah, because it's cold as hell right now and the commentators are freezing and all the wrestlers are cold trying to climb up those ladders and a wind gust hits them. And I would not want to be in that position. But yeah, Truth stole the whole damn thing when he starts doing the John Cena moves. Mm-hmm. When he did the hot tag and Miz was like, screw it, I'll play into it. And he gets it. Yeah, he is just so great. And when they pointed out a couple months back that he never really had a WrestleMania moment, I was like, okay, this is how you do that. Mm-hmm. And I love seeing them get the tag titles. Truth hasn't been tag team champion in like 12 years. And when I think of how many partners he's had, that's kind of nuts.
Yeah.
But yeah,
well, in regards to the cold, I'm not trying to go full heel here. But Philly shouldn't have got Mania. I'm not trying to dog on the home team. I'm an Eagles fan. I grew up an Eagles fan, all right? Philly was a bad place for Mania.
I don't get it because it's April, and it's going to be cold in April. So
genuinely, there was no way I was not going to buy a ticket to go see The Rock wrestle and be hooting and hollering. The Rock got an exponentially larger pop in Dallas for SmackDown than any single moment of the entirety of WrestleMania. The weather destroyed the crowd. It was too cold. Like, it was uncomfortably cold out there. By the time I was wearing a sweater, a long sleeve sweater, a full-on $100 damn hoodie that I bought at the Superstore, and a jacket that I bought here as well, and a beanie hat, and I was and I was still very cold. And Joe next to me is where I don't remember what he was wearing. He's wearing a long sleeve shirt and a jacket. By the time it was done, by the time that last match was on, he was just sitting down like, bro, I'm freezing. Like, he was didn't even want to stand up and cheer for the main event because he was so damn cold. Like, it was a mistake. It shouldn't have been here. Philadelphia, be warmer or build a roof. Listen, I say that as I'm an Eagles guy. All right, that's one of the reasons Connor and I will never see eye to eye. Okay,
no sir.
So but the link was not the right place.
Oh,
for
don't
this.
do it. Don't do it. Oh, jeez. Oh my God. See, this is why people this is why people dislike Chiefs fans.
Well, that's too damn bad.
Even though I am a Chiefs fan typically. But Connor has made me almost turn on my own team.
Too bad.
But yeah, to your point, Matt, the weather, this ladder match was when you started to realize the crowd was not hot. In fact, they were literally cold at WrestleMania, and it really. I'm getting on Twitter after it was over. I saw, wow, it wasn't just me who felt like the crowd wasn't in it. Like it came through on the broadcast. The crowd sucked, and I don't know that it's the people of Philly's fault as much as it is that it was freaking cold.
Well, yeah, right. That's the thing I didn't want. So, like, number one, on TV, it wasn't as noticeable. I don't feel like then as it was live and in person. Because like, yeah, I saw commentary on it, but like, you know, there wasn't just this obvious like, oh my God, nothing's getting reactions and stuff. You did have times where like some of the wrestlers would like, you know, like try and amp stuff up, but like, you know, it also is like, if you're cold, you don't want to do that. I get it. Like 100% get it. Like, I don't want to do it either. I've been in those types of situations before. And that's the last thing I want to do is like raise my arms and get everything, you know, like, get all into it. I'm freezing.
Yeah. I mean,
so I get it.
At SoFi, from the time Cody's music hit for his entrance to the time Roman's music finished when he won, not a single person sat down.
Nope.
Yeah.
In Philly, people were yelling at people to sit down last night if they were in front
because
of
they
them.
didn't want to stand.
Yeah, nobody wanted to even stand up. I stood up. I was like,
because they were cold, right?
Well,
As
I hope
opposed
so.
to
I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. It better be because they were cold. If y'all bought floor seats to Mania and you want to sit down, shut up. You should give your ticket to someone else.
I think we're watching BD's heel turn. I really think is that what kind of is that tequila? What kind of tequila is that, BD?
I can only the only tequila you're allowed to drink while talking about wrestling is Terramana, right?
Damn right.
This is emergency. This is vitamin C because it's so damn cold in Philadelphia. I'm hoping I don't get sick from going to WrestleMania.
So before we move to the next thing, I will say I am very happy for you know, Connor actually mentioned it, like, you know, Truth has been an MVP consistently. He's one of the most delightful. I mean, dude goes into an already charged group with Judgment Day. They're already fan favorites to a degree, and just spikes that to 11 because the dude just doesn't know how to not be charismatic. And it's great to see him get a moment. For me, look, I've always been a huge Miz fan. Dude is also another one that is always working, always doing so much with the crowd. He puts in the work to be a lot of times the villain that gets defeated, that gets taken down. I love seeing him get a moment like this is always, for me, well-deserved. Miz is amazing. And I love that he's with Truth. Like, I just love everything about this. Mm-hmm. Yes, he is. Miz is one of the most underrated, like, wrestlers in wrestling. Like, I just think he always goes above and beyond. So yeah, I'm glad for him to get his moment. Also, comic things, sorry, didn't mean to overlook the match I didn't actually mention, which I was very excited too much, and I even put in the layout, was that the Wolf Dogs won a tag team. I did not care one iota about when that was presented on paper, as far as like, oh, Baron Corbin and Braun Breaker, yeah, you should care about that. I did not care, and oh my God, I was so wrong. They are delightful. They are fantastic. I am surprised that with Braun's full-time SmackDown roster thing that like they're gonna keep those titles. So I'm guessing, because Corbin hasn't really popped up on SmackDown much, so I'm guessing that like he's going to show up soon and they're going to keep them together. I would actually be okay with that, because I think that's the best thing that's happened to Corbin in a minute. So yeah, so didn't want to ignore that. Just saw that. Thank you very much for chiming in. All right, let's move to the 6 women tag. The match we talked about earlier, as far as the entrance, but you know, this was also, you know, Jade Cargill's first WrestleMania moment, probably of many. Going forward in the future. This was really her first match as well, outside of just the appearance in the Rumble. Having this trio together, Damage Control, also gets a shining spot. Dakota Kai had been away with an injury for a long time, so this is like her biggest moment since returning. So there was a lot going on here. There's 6 talented women in the ring. This was fun. What did you guys think of this match? And as far as Jade specifically, do you think like this trio showed a lot of just kind of natural chemistry and charisma, especially if you watch the post presser? They just seem to really get along. Should we keep this running for a bit before the inevitable Jade Bianca rivalry opens up? Because I can't wait to see that. What do you guys think there? Let's go with Connor.
So I thought the presentation was great. I thought they protected Jade to the level that they needed to. Everything she was given to do in that match, you could tell, was very mapped out, kept very simple. And for where she's at right now, that's all you need. That being said, when you take away the presentation, this could have been a 6-woman tag match on SmackDown. The match itself was nothing to write home about. And I was kind of sitting back, I'm like, I'm looking at all 6 of these women. I'm like, they all kind of deserve better than this, but they're all in the same match together. So they're all kind of stuck in the same spot. So this, to me, this was where the quality of the show started to take a dip through nobody's fault. Just that this was a filler match.
Yeah. I mean, it feels like they wanted to put these people on the card and they didn't know how. So they put them on here and on the Let's Put Jade Over show. It's kind of what it felt like, and Jade went over, so it accomplished its goal. The way they finished the match, they made Jade look strong as hell. I mean, Jade simply existing makes Jade look strong as hell. So they made her look even stronger. In terms of keeping it together, I mean, would you want to introduce a 3-person tag title like Ring of Honor has? Without that, I don't see a reason to keep them together really. So I think maybe they stay buddies, but I don't think they become a faction.
Honestly, the sooner they turn Jade, the better, because she's a natural heel.
She is. She's a very good heel. I think. I kind of want to see more from this group, and I don't know exactly how you do that because I don't see them turning them a faction or anything. I just want to see more of this group and friendship on TV before we do the inevitable, which is the one I'm hyped about. I want Bianca versus Jade. Like, that's going to be awesome. Personally, I would be fine flipping that and having Bianca go heel. I'm perfectly fine with that because I've been wanting an NXT Bianca heel run for a minute. And so I would be fine with that. But if you want to flip Jade, might be a little too early. Well, we'll see. But you could also build that from here. Like, you could have them be friends for a minute, start to build that storyline out, and then having Jade turn on them is your heel turn. And then we get whatever comes from that, right? We get not only Naomi versus Jade, and then we get Bianca. Like, you can work it from here, but I still kind of want to see them together because I think they go really well. They are delightful as a trio. So I hope to see more of that. Yeah, and also too, there's other women that weren't in the mix here that you can bring in. All in the Game mentions Raquel, right? Like, you've got other people. Liv's gonna have a bigger role. You have other women here too that can be inserted into this picture that weren't part of the WrestleMania picture. I do agree. Also, I saw it in the comments that the women's tag titles should have been involved in here. I agree. I don't know where the hell what's happening with those. So yeah, there's some questionable as far as like outside decisions, but as the match itself, I thought the match was fun, and it did what it was supposed to do. I will say Bianca, I feel like, stole the show in several ways. Her athleticism is just bonkers. All right, let's get to Jey versus Jimmy, or as it should be called, super kicks. Super kicks and super kicks galore.
Can I start this one? I never want to hear anyone complain about a Young Bucks match ever again.
Oh, I will.
I've never been as bored with a Young Bucks match where they just spam super kicks as I was with this.
Well, here's the thing. We're going to complain about this match, so we'll complain about everything else we want to, too.
That's fair.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can't say they're just as bad. I can't believe you're going to come out here and like talk about the Young Bucks.
Yeah, because what are the Young Bucks known for? Tassels
If
and
we
super
were
kicks.
saying that this match was good, then we could say don't complain about Young Bucks. I don't think anybody's saying this match was good.
No.
It was a weird ending. It was a super weird ending. Like I was like, okay. And at first I assumed Jey would get the win because you balance it out, right? Jey gets the win, one of the kind of trio of good guys, because you kind of figured that Cody and Seth would lose, setting up the bloodline romance. So you kind of like, okay, I get it. Even though really Jimmy needed the win more than Jey. Jimmy like really needs a win here. But yeah, it was just like, I don't know. There's a part of me that goes like, what do you expect from like the super kick thing, right? Because like I expect that from a Bucks match. I also expect a bunch of high spots and flippy spots and things like that. And Jey and Jimmy went all out on the super kicks, but I didn't get enough of the other stuff. I'm like, I expect that and I'm fine with it, but like, you got to balance it out. Like there's gotta be some other things happening. And it was just between that, never really kind of getting outside of that box. And on top of that, the weird ending, because while I figured Jey would win, it was just like super abrupt. I don't know. It was just, this was weird. This was a weird one.
They did booyahs punches with super kicks, and first of all, this is a match we know Jimmy and Jey wanted personally really badly, and I think it could have been much more of a spectacle match. It could have been it just felt much like the women's match we just talked about, like, oh, we got to put this on the card now. Like, this is a match I think they jumped the shark at SummerSlam, having Jimmy turn on Jey there. Just didn't really fit. It didn't sit well with me. I feel like they haven't really known what to do with Jimmy since, really. Putting him back in the bloodline felt weird, still feels kind of silly, but now it's just kind of, he's been back in there so long, we accept it and we're used to it again. And now this match comes along and it should have felt vicious. It should have felt personal, and it just felt kicky and quippy. And that was it. It didn't really have much to it. I think, man, I'm a huge Jey Uso fan, and I'm a Jimmy Uso fan of the fact that I love what he's doing as a heel. I think he's a great performer. He's so good at playing this silly, antagonistic member of the bloodline.
I agree.
So, and he's doing it so well. He's good at getting hate. So I think that this match could have been better. It could have been bigger. And ultimately, it just ended up being the mid-card match that we're all going to forget about. And it shouldn't have been that.
Yeah, from the jump, this thing has kind of been cursed by weird storytelling. The SummerSlam thing that just kind of turned into a debacle, that didn't work. And then for them to immediately split brands and go, oh, we'll get back to this at WrestleMania, but we're not going to have them touch for months at a time. It's like, yeah, but then no one's talking about this by the time they actually do get back in the ring again.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, I think that's where they went wrong.
Yeah.
I think exactly.
Because when they opened the Rumble as the 1 and 2, they were expecting everybody to get hyped because, hey, we're finally getting back to this. And then, but the crowd at the time was just kind of like, yay, we recognize these two. It wasn't, oh my God, the blood feud continues.
But I think, because I agree with you. I think where they went wrong is not the split. It's not integrating their storylines more during the split, because I think the split actually did both of them. And while it took a minute for Jimmy to like really kind of find a rhythm and a feel for his persona and stuff, I think now he's doing some amazing, like for the last few months, he's been doing some really great stuff. When he leaned into the goofy is where he found a winning formula. Jey is a star on his own. And I think what happened was that I think they were building him to that, right? But I think that kind of took off in a way they didn't really expect, quicker than they expected. And so the plan worked. They were both great separately. And so I think it was a mistake to then kind of hold off on having them, not mingle in some way. Like, you got to have some kind of storyline tether, especially if they're not on the same brand, which they weren't. So you got to find a way to do that more. So by the time they did, and when like, hey, it's a big deal. Yeah. Everyone had kind of like accepted that they were separate and was just kind of, and I think this needed another couple months. If you're going to build to that, this was a SummerSlam match. Like, you build it to where they are vicious and stuff. They're not at that point right now. They're not. Like, they just, they're not as characters. So that one was super weird. Didn't quite go off. Let's get to a match that I feel like did, which is Sami Zayn versus Gunther.
Oh, match of the night.
Yes.
For the Intercontinental Championship. What did let's go here. I feel like, number one, we have Connor is like, number one Gunther fan. I feel like for a long time, and has deflected a lot of the bullets I know that have come his way.
He cannot have a bad match. I challenge you to find me a bad match he's had in this company. Can't happen.
He hasn't. I agree wholeheartedly. What did you think here? Obviously, we got we played into like the family aspect for Sami. His wife's there. We really lean hard into that. And then, Sami gets the big win. It was a good moment. I feel like to this point, while I see as much like divisiveness on Gunther as more than I expect a lot of times, actually, of like, well, he's just boring, is this and that. But I feel like you watch this match and like, I don't know how you say bored. Like you watch this match and go like, I feel like this match is one that like put a lot of those things to rest. I don't know. How do you guys feel?
I've never been bored during a Gunther match. I think he puts out bangers. And if you say that, the only person you're lying to is yourself. Get over it. He's great. He's a great heel. I hate him. I want him to lose every time, and he keeps winning.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't stink. You do.
He's put on back-to-back WrestleMania Match of the Year contenders.
Straight up. This
is BD's heel era, man.
Triple threat. That's right. If you got a problem with Gunther being great, then it sounds like that's a you problem.
Oh my god! And yes,
the
yes, Peter, him versus Ilya. Oh my god!
Oh god!
Oh yeah.
When that gets to the main roster, that's going to be brutal.
Can we talk about that? Ever since Kevin Dunn left, they've started these new shots. One of the new director things is they start these walkout shots, and they are tasty little snippets of cinema. When Sami started in the back with his wife, and then Chad Gable, and then KO, and then the crowd, I knew there was no way he was losing this match. But it was brilliant watching that on the screen in the arena. And once he was talking to his wife, and then Gable, I was like, wait a second. Are they going to follow him all the way out? They're doing that thing they do, and this is really cool. They're giving him the Goldberg entrance, but like better, because they do it every once in a while now. I thought it was cinema. It was great.
No, it was fantastic, and the way it played out, it honestly reminded me of, if we want to go back into WrestleMania history, WrestleMania 7 Savage Warrior, like one of Ultimate Warrior's only good matches, where you just have the heel unloading offense on him over and over, and you think, oh, there's no way he's going to get up. But then when Gunther gets out of the ring, he looks like he's getting another splash, and Sami just starts pounding the mats.
Oh,
I'm like, I've never seen such a visual, like, babyface fire up comeback where the other guy's not even in the ring. And then for him to go full El Generico and break out the one move you thought they'd never let him do with the top rope brainbuster. Perfect. And the commentary team, like McAfee, you can tell he didn't know it was coming. So the moment it happens, he's just losing his absolute mind. And the crowd's like, holy crap, they let him do that move finally. And then the win, it was just perfect. I know folks will knock it for, they wanted this to be Rocky 3 in the absolute worst way. And they pulled out lines from it. They pulled out scenes from it. Gable was basically playing the Mickey role the entire time. Sami's wife was Adrian. But the match itself, able to stand alone this was just great.
It's match of the night.
Yeah, agreed.
And this show needed that, because after those first two, we started getting pretty low with this card, and that scared me because on paper, this night looked better than night 2. So for this to not fully deliver, I was like, oh, we might be in trouble. And then this
let me tell you something. 75,000 people there at WrestleMania. Sami Zayn puts on a show. Gunther puts on a show. 1, 2, 3, and the crowd went mild.
Well, that's Phil.
Philadelphia, I need you to do. I'm praying tonight goes better.
Get warmer. Still my favorite. That's still my. I think that's like my favorite quote from today's thing. Get warmer.
Go buy a jacket.
Yes.
Go to Primark. It's $25. You can afford a ticket to WrestleMania. You can afford a jacket. Go buy one.
Oh my God.
Enjoy the show.
So, and as Peter points out, yeah, there are some other moves that, hey, if you're gonna let people, just pull them out every so often. There's some good
Kevin
nominations
Owens,
there.
Logan Paul, the package pile driver. Make my night.
Oh my God!
Come on,
kill him in the corner.
This would be awesome if they did that. This would be the match to do it too.
Logan
oh
Paul's
my God,
too big for that move.
No, since we're talking that triple threat, Randy Orton break out the punt.
Yeah,
just sitting poor Logan Paul's head flying.
Oh my God.
Yes,
Logan Paul.
Oh my God.
I don't care what you say.
Oh, he's totally retaining.
Yeah,
I agree with you wholeheartly.
I
just want him to get the snot beat out of him before he retains.
Oh, he will. I think he will.
All right, let's move to something that I feel like was crafted just for the Philly fans. The LWO versus Legado match, which look, I am, this is like this is a match made for me. LWO for life, right? I'm so excited about this. Andrade getting some shine. I love my boy there, but also Jason Kelsey making an argument for dude is making the rounds this year, and it's just, I feel like MVP wherever he goes. I saw the whole Super Bowl energy thing we had on Comic Book, and it made me laugh. So this was a fun match. This is a match that was very much like, made for me, really. But what did you guys think about this? I follow these guys on SmackDown a lot more than you guys do.
I had the misfortune of, before any entrances to this match, I ran to the bathroom and to get chicken wings, and it took me right up until Jason Kelsey came out to get back to my seat. So I only saw snippets of it from the screen while in the very long line at Lincoln Financial, unfortunately for me. Yeah, it was tough.
Chicken wings.
Thought maybe honestly, I got beef with Philly now. The line was so damn long.
Oh my God.
It took me entrances and almost in the whole match. I got there, Jason Kelsey was leaving. All right.
To be fair, this also wasn't the longest match, but still, it's still a long time. It's still long enough. It's long enough.
So I was confused when this match got announced, because the way it had all been set up, I'm like, okay, no, this is the big faction 10-man tag match. Like, let everybody who's on both sides get involved. And when they announced it was a tag team match, I was like, okay, are they doing something with this? And then then the tag match just happened, and it turned out to just be a spot for a couple of Eagles players to show up. Now, don't get me wrong, I love that Taylor Swift's boyfriend's brother was able to appear on this, but that's pretty much all we walked away with.
Patrick Mahomes didn't do his little baseball jog out into the
Why would he be here? He's too busy.
Oh my God!
Because
my God!
No, Patrick Mahomes, his hand is so heavy because it has wings on it.
Yeah, more than the Eagles do. All one of them.
Oh my God! All right. Well, this was
thing to come out of Kansas City is Taylor Swift. You're welcome.
Oh my God!
Well, I mean, it's all good.
What I will say is that this was really, like, if you've been watching SmackDown, this was very much like, it made sense. Like, I was excited for this. This was they did the big turn this last episode of SmackDown with Andrade stepping in. There's still more story there because we don't actually know if Andrade was the one that attacked him just to get a spot on the WrestleMania card.
Don't you lie.
Or it could be Carlito, and there's actually like several fun story threads from that. So that was why, like, I'm invested. I'm excited for this. Plus, I will watch these two teams feud. I'm a longtime Legado Fantasma fan. Like, I get it, right? And their entrance looks so good on WrestleMania. So, all right, let's get to the big one, though, before we got to go. Let's get to the tag match that this was all built to, the main event. Bloodline Rules was on the docket, and it didn't matter because this was a Bloodline Rules match. So who needs the one from That was all good. Sorry, that was my cat. That was a cat making constant problems. This one, Rock's first match, 8 years, lot of stuff leading up to this. This was a long match too. This went what, an hour? 45 minutes?
44 minutes is what the clock
44
did.
minutes, okay.
With entrances, it was
So
over an hour.
Yeah.
roller coaster ride. I will say we were in the chat, we were glued. I was all over the place. I was a wreck by the end of this. In the best way possible, really, because I was just like, that's how invested I was, right? What did you think of we'll just start with The Rock. What did you think of how The Rock looked? It's been 8 years. Dude's obviously in incredible shape, but we all know, like, it's different when you're in a ring and things like that. Even the most fit people can blow up in, 5 minutes, right? Depending on stuff. So what did you think of how The Rock looked throughout this match?
Appearance wise, he looked great. Dude's yoked. Roman also shredded, by the way, but we'll stay on The Rock. I think in training for wrestling for the past year, my eyes have been opened a lot to what it takes to be in the ring, what the psychology, the physicality, the endurance, and The Rock had a very safe match. The bumps he took were almost entirely off of punches and kicks, with the exceptions being 5 moves made him bump, a pedigree that he rolled over on, which was great, the rock bottom through the table, the spear from Roman, the stomp, and the Cody cutter. He almost took the crossroads, but they got to the setup, and I was like, I don't know if The Rock can take a crossroads, and we didn't find out.
He barely took the pedigree because Cody couldn't hook his arms.
I know. I thought, dude, you had Roman with his arms up, like behind his back, and then right next to him, Rock's arms are out because he's just gigantic. So not that those are like any small potato bumps to take. Like he sold them well, especially the table spot. It was all good stuff. That said, if you look at it, I can't think of any sequences where The Rock could have got blown up and ran out of gas. Almost everything he did was a move and then some punches, maybe.
Yeah.
A move, throw somebody out of the ring. Take a move, pause, let's taunt. There wasn't really anything in sequence. It protected The Rock, kept him from getting gassed, it kept him from getting tired, and it was a safe match. And I think that was the smart thing to do. It was freaking cold. And I think that for his first match in so long, if you don't count the 6-second match even longer, it was a good show. He told the most important thing about wrestling, more than any moves, more than any sequences, is the story you're telling. And The Rock knows how to tell a story, and he did that masterfully. And every bit of the wrestling I thought looked great. And the only mistake I think he made, at least that we could tell, was that he kicked somebody and he fell over into the ropes. And I got a little chuckle out of that, but he recovered from it perfectly. No, I think The Rock put on a great show last night. And I thought I loved it, man. I thought it was cool to see.
No, you nailed it, Brandon. In terms of storytelling, this match delivered.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the way that they protected Rock was every big spot that they were building to was buffered by long stretches of time, so that no one was gassed, no accidents could happen. Because for me, it wasn't just, hey, are you in good ring shape? It's, can he get out of this match without tearing something? Because he famously got hurt in the second John Cena match, and it wound up hurting the production of the next movie he had coming out. I think it was the Hercules movie that he was about to film. So looking at this match, I get why it was structured the way it was. That being said, they had about 25 minutes of story that they told in 45. And at some point, you just have to throw up your hands and go, this is too bloody long. You know, I'm the guy that loves when a match out of a surprise goes super long. I love when AEW does the surprise time limit draws, when Kenny and Danielson goes 30 or Hangman Danielson goes an hour. I love when Shawn Michaels, John Cena went an hour for fun on Raw one night. But if you're going to go that long, if you're going to go past 30 to 35 minutes, you got to have a good reason to do so. And they didn't really. This
isn't a good reason to do so.
They were playing it. If this had been 30 minutes, no one would be complaining about length, and people would be saying this was great. Instead, they're all sitting back going, Christ, this was long.
If the Philly crowd was into it, you wouldn't feel that way. or the Philly crowd had energy and they weren't frozen. I'm telling you, think about 18. Rock and Hogan didn't really do much in that match,
But that match was in 45 minutes.
But they look at the start of this match and look at the start of that match. It's the same thing. It's let's look at that side. Let's look at that side. Oh, we're looking over there. That means they're going to start chanting something. Oh, and the crowd was barely. I mean, there was Rocky sucks, Rocky code. There was a plenty of chants, but like it wasn't that same energy. Like when you're watching 18, it's palpable. It's like, oh wow, this isn't the main event. When you're watching 18, when you're watching this, I watched parts of this back when I got back to my room last night. I pulled up Peacock and I was like, I want to see how it looked. It was not even close to that energy, and I think that lack of crowd energy certainly made this one feel longer. And it about 20 minutes into the match, I thought it really picked up. Like once they did the table spot and then Roman speared Seth through the barricade, the crowd got hot for that and it started to come to life. But still never matched that 18 in my opinion. And this should have been, I mean, I know we're never going to get there, but Puerto Rico levels of excitement.
Right.
And it wasn't even close.
Also, you've got 4 all-time professionals in that ring. At some point, you look around and go, the crowd's not into this. Making this another 20 minutes isn't going to help anybody. Hit the go home button. And they should.
Right. Yeah. I mean, in theory, yes, you should always pace it out. That's the luxury of professional wrestling. You can react to the crowd. But I don't know, maybe, I mean, the show ended at like 11 something. It wasn't even late. No. So maybe,
it really wasn't.
If they would have called it early, that would have been a really short show too, overall. And it wasn't bad. I don't think it was, sorry, go ahead.
No. I honestly think if you, so here's the thing. I disagree fundamentally with the, like this deserves, if you're going to go 45 minutes, like I can't think of many matches that like deserve that time more than this. I mean, it's like, this is like a penultimate chapter to what is going to happen tonight and all this other stuff, right? There's a lot of that. So I'm totally fine with that. And it didn't feel long to me. I was invested the entire time. What I will say is there is still stuff to be trimmed. I'm not saying it had, but I think most of that is from the beginning. I don't think anything past, 10, 15 minutes in needs to be cut. I was in, and so was like everyone I'm around and like everyone I'm watching it with is in. I think all the stuff with the entrances, and then also we get like 5 minutes of stairs, right? I'm okay with cutting that crap. Like I don't need that. Like I get it. I know why I'm here. I don't need you to then convince me. Like stare downs are always a little overrated for me, in my opinion. I could always do with them being cut in half. I'm okay with it. I don't need everything for that.
The stare down works when the crowd responds.
Right.
If Rock Hogan were doing that in Toronto at 18 when the crowd wasn't acting like that, that would have looked really stupid.
Right. But even then, I'm like, still cut it in half. I don't need so much of that. You know what I mean? So like, yes, to me, early on, make some adjustments, make some calls. Hey, it's cold. These guys probably aren't going to pop for this as normally do. So like, let's trim that a little bit and just get to the meat and potatoes of this. Obviously early on, people are feeling each other out, right? We get the typical spots of like someone being shoved across and then someone gets their move back and then the Seth back and forth. Like we get some of that. There's things to be trimmed. I'm not saying that it was a perfect match or anything like that. That said, though, once we hit a certain point, I was invested. I feel like a lot of people were invested in it. I didn't feel the 40 minutes. I felt the 10 that were unnecessary, but I didn't feel the 40. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of how I feel. And I do agree with you as far as like Rock looked good. They did a good job. They protected him. You didn't have that spot where he's just like sitting in the corner gassed. And you're like, oh, it breaks the facade, right? You didn't have that with him, and that's how you handle that. It's perfect. Here's my thing. I don't mind when an ending is what I expect it to be. I expected them to. I went into this knowing that they would lose because you have to. That's the whole point of the story.
I knew the only possible ending for this was Rock pins Cody.
Right.
Like, there's no way this ends any other way. First of all, there's no way the night ended with anyone's music other than The Rock's playing. Like there was no version of this that could have happened.
Because then you get the complaints on the other side of like, well, the ending doesn't make any sense. Well, you can't have both sometimes. And I'm okay with it being predictable if it's still a great story. This was a great story for the majority of this match. I was invested. They actually convinced me twice that, well, maybe they don't. Like, maybe they do. And that's the whole point. If you can even get me to doubt my own self once throughout a match, if you've done your job. And they managed to do it twice.
Surprising, absolutely no one. I'm more with Matt than I am with Connor.
Well, that's not surprising for anyone who watches FXC wrestling. However, it's simple booking philosophy. If you tease the idea of a stipulation that is just balls to the wall, anything can happen, like bloodline rules, you don't take that away from people. You give that stipulation to them. So there was only one way this match was going to end. I did like the little twist of The Rock just flat out telling the ref, we can do whatever the hell we want, or I fire you.
Great.
I'm like, no, that's smart. That actually works. Because no one wants
I love that at one point the ref just went over to Rollins like apologizing of like, I can't do it.
Don't fire me. What do you want?
And the Mama Rhodes crap, okay? Like you roll your eyes at it, but it works, like you can't say anything. I will say it did make me laugh when Rock brought out a title. Because you went through that whole stick just so you could walk down the thing with the title.
Very much.
He looked like a fan who brought a belt.
Yeah.
It's a nice title.
I love Rock, but I thought that was funny. I thought that was funny.
I'm like, dude, you like really? And like, if you watch the Hall of Fame, which I did, right? Like, it's like this, like, sentimental thing, and it like means all this stuff. And then you see that and you go, you just did that so you could walk with a belt. That's all you did.
Pretty much.
Oh, it's funny.
I bet you
that
that's
made me laugh.
Sale right now. That belt has got to be on sale at the Superstore. And it's probably flying off the shelves.
So we got to head out here. We're already clocking in. Wow, though, we covered everything, though. I mean, look, you can't cover everything; it's impossible. But we covered a lot. So before we head out, what are you? What needs to happen on night 2 to make this great WrestleMania for you? I'm going to lead this off because everyone knows mine already. It's not any spoiler. I need Cody to finish the story. I am Cody 101 here. I need him to hold that title up and begin the Renaissance era, if trademarks are to be believed. So I that's what I need. I need that to pay off all of this that I've been feeling, because I was a wreck last night. I'm not gonna it was hard for me to go to sleep. I was so amped after that stupid match. I need that to happen. All right, so for Peter, it's a Steenizer to Logan Paul. That's what needs to happen for Peter.
Well done.
All right, BD, what you got?
Are you trying to call Dwayne right now?
No. Wait, I just picked. Well, wait, that was really supposed to.
Were you trying to play music? There it is.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
That to me is like I want to see the Avengers Endgame moment. I don't ask for much, but give me everything. I think Cody's winning tonight. But the only way I'll be satisfied with Cody winning is if the WWE Avengers of all eras assemble to take down Thanos and his Black Order. And I've been saying this for over a year that I wanted this to happen, and people laughed at me. They looked at me and they laughed. I built this idea in a cave with a box of scraps. And now where are you? You're right here begging for it to be reality, just like I am. This is the best possible outcome. There's I don't want to talk about who's turning, who's cheating, who's this, who's that. I want everybody to be there, and we'll figure it out then. But I think one after another, I think they'll probably have Jey Uso come out. He comes running down. You'll lower Logan Paul down on a harness. They'll actually get the Disney Imagineers to open a portal in the crowd and walk. John Moxley's going to walk through with his hair back, and he's going to say, "I'm Dean Ambrose."
No, don't do that.
He's going to have his hair back on. It's going to be great. Oh, they're all coming, man. No, I really do think they have an opportunity to create what could be inarguably the biggest moment in like WWE history to create and invest in Cody Rhodes in a way that WWE has never done in any single superstar before. Now, granted, that's an insane expectation. Is this actually going to happen? Is Austin actually going to come out and hit The Rock with a stunner to help Cody Rhodes win the WWE Universe? I don't know, but that would be amazing.
But last night was Infinity War. I realized I've got both the Lego gauntlets behind me.
There you go.
Last night was Infinity War with what do we do now? Cody's screwed. And now it's the Avengers Assemble moment from Endgame. And I know plenty of folks have talked about, let's get John Cena back because he's got beef with the bloodline. Let's get Steve Austin because can you imagine that pop of Austin and Rock standing face to face one last time?
Oh.
But if it's honestly just all of the people that Roman has screwed over since this whole thing started, that's fine. If it's KO, Sami, LA Knight, AJ Styles, Seth, Jey, basically everyone except Drew can show up and be like, nope, Cody's finally got the backup that he is so desperately needed. And his I am Iron Man moment with that final crossroads, it will be, as Brandon said earlier, cinema.
I'll tell you what.
I think you get one legend. I think you get, I would bet, I don't think you'll get everybody. It would be awesome if they do, right? They've already done the teases of Cena. I know they said like, oh, there's nothing to that. There's Stone Cold on the truck, right? And all that. There's nothing. Well, okay. There's rarely not.
They didn't use the Sasha Banks truck.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I saw that one parked out here yesterday. So
yeah.
So they really still have that.
Yeah, it means something. I would say Stone Cold's your best bet because, man, what a pop that would be. How many times you're going to have Rock in a ring, right, to where Stone Cold could do that? That's the one that if one happens, I think it's that. Cena could, but I think it's if you get one, it's Stone Cold. But I agree with Connor. I think if it's everybody at this point, the trail is so long that you could just have everybody and their brother pop in. And it would be great too if you get like Knight and Styles because they're gonna have that match, right? But even they like put aside their rivalry just for a minute because they hate Roman so much. Like stuff like that is gonna make that moment better. And I think you can still do it with most of the people there. And it still works because we've literally seen this for years. And so there's all that resentment built up. I think it works. I am excited to see what we get. So with that said, let's cut it there because we have talked a lot, but man, that was a lot to talk about. We'll have some people here back tomorrow to talk about night 2. So we got plenty more coming here. You can check out all of our wrestling talk. We have interviews live from WrestleMania, all about NXT, WWE. We have pretty much everything across the board on our Comicbook Nation YouTube channel. You can check out the socials. You can watch the brawl that happened between LA Knight and AJ Styles. Speaking of them, live there as well, or on Comic Book Instagram. You can check out all of our podcasts on our audio feeds. Connor Beatty, thank you for geeking out with me. This is one of my favorite things to do. Is nerd out about wrestling for a bit. So thank you for indulging me and hopping on here to do this.
You bet. And if you want to see Brandon and I both in action, check out fxcwrestlingnetwork.com for tickets. April 28th, we're back in Hendersonville. Bigger venue this time at the Premier Center. I know who BD's taking on, and my boys in the Syndicate will be in action.
And if you're in Philadelphia, pop for the main event. Go crazy.
Buy a jacket, evidently.
Go buy a damn jacket. Philly. Warm up. Take a shot of whiskey if you have to. We can say that. Wheatley's a sponsor on WWE now. The PG era is dead. Now go be an adult and have fun. Matt, thank you so much for having me. This was awesome. I'm sorry for being so damn annoying and disruptive.
Oh my God, it's amazing. No, it's fantastic. And don't say Road Dogg. Don't even put that out there.
No, that's what's going to happen.
Even though I would pop for that.
Roman's about to put Cody away, and all of a sudden, oh, you didn't know.
See, you all would. You know it. It would come out. You'd still pop for it. We'll catch you next time. Peace, everybody.
Later.